welcome Laurie Wondra.
Good morning. I want you to just sit back and take a breath. Maybe some of you race to get in here and close your eyes for just a moment. I'm going to send some energy out into the room. Shambhala, which is a Sanskrit word for peace, tranquility, love, happiness, joy. And whatever you want that place to be held for you in peace and joy, put that out into the universe this morning. And take a deep breath. Good morning. It's a great morning, isn't it? It is 11:11:11. So 2018, see if we can do this. Mercury's going retrograde, so we'll see how I do with technology today. So 2018 is a universal 11 year. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8 is 11. So we've been in this portal year, this entire year. And today is 11:11. And before we jump into the power of community, I just want to acknowledge any of our veterans that might be here, family members that we think about, we hold them close in our heart, and we send love out to them. But also for us, we hold that love in our heart. So in that 2018, 11-11-11, this is the third that we've had since 1910. We had another one in 2009, and now 2018. And so it's very powerful, and the mathematicians in here might be saying, well, when's the next one, right? And the mathematician in me, the scientist in me, had to figure it out. So the next ones are 2027, 2036, 2045, 2054. They start to collapse. They start to come closer. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But in an 11 year, we have the freedom to really see ourselves. And sometimes we don't like what we see in ourselves. We've been doing that deep work all year long, and there's been stuff that's come up, and we maybe haven't liked all of it that we've experienced it, but it is a freedom year. And many of us are working through things from even past lifetimes, some karmic events, but it's also a year of working on our mastery in intuition, spirituality, enlightenment. We have a greater capacity to achieve those things that our soul is screaming for us to achieve. So today is a double portal, and I want you to think about yourselves are the two gateways on the side as the ones, and you're in the middle, and you're walking through that gateway. So it's also been a time of me, the I am energy. Those that have heard me speak, I've been talking about I am for years. But it's also you, and it's that unity, and that's where the power of community comes in. We start to understand, here is who I am, here is who you are, I think I know who you are, I accept you, and we start to vibrate. Our energy starts to bring us closer together, that vibration brings us closer together in those communities, and we create this unity. I'm going to take you back just a little bit. So astrology, or the elders of the universe, the helpers of the universe, give us very succinct time periods of our evolution. And we're in this 2017 to 2025, which is about humanitarianism, community, partnership, radical change. And sometimes that is very discombobulating for us, right? Because it throws us off what our standard, what we think our foundation is, and it thrusts us. It doesn't just gently move us, it totally thrusts us into something new, and we're experiencing that now. But the nice part about our soul is we are demanding freedom, more so than ever in our life, ever in the past. We're demanding, I don't like this job, I want to be happy, I don't like this relationship, I don't like where I live, I don't like my friends sometime. We're demanding that happiness. We're demanding that we be true to our vibration. And we're seeking alternative wisdom. And sometimes that alternative wisdom has to come from the communities. And so we have to vibrate at that vibration to find the communities that help us in that. So I'm going to talk about one planet, the Neptune influence. So those born between 1955 and 62, you're breaking down barriers. We often have called them indigo children, children of the stars, seedlings, sun children. We have all sorts of labels. But per the astrology, Scorpio, we're the trend centers, okay? Those born between 55 and 70, you're wanting to help heal others and make a difference. And some of you are just starting to wake up in that. Do I have people in here in those? I know I have people in here. I can see your lights. So you're seeking relationships that are deeper, and that includes your communities that you're in. You want to go deeper. You don't like the surface stuff anymore. You want to have a true relationship. You're forging those new frontiers in the sexual revolution, and we've been under a heavy influence of Scorpio the last year. But it's not about the sexual part as much as it is about how we look at the male and the female energy and breaking new pathways in those areas. You're understanding and beginning to use those psychic and intuitive abilities. And I believe that we're not so much learning those things, we're remembering them from past lifetimes. But in order to remember those and create that space, we have to unlearn the patterns and the beliefs that have held us locked down for so many lifetimes. And that's tough work. So we're playing with and I love this term, the alchemy of love. We're creating that. There's a chemistry about it. And we're wanting to be in that energy and experience it and transform it. So the layers and the definition of love is actually changing for all of us. And many of you have heard the term, in the last few years, I've noticed the terms frequency and energy and vibration. It's everywhere. Later on, I'm going to do a meditation, and I'm going to use words of vibration to the number 11. Okay? So today, Gary's going to give me some music later on. I'm going to expand and open up, and I'm going to ask our helpers to come in. Because community is more than this room here. It's also those who have passed over, our angels, and our guides. So we're going to ramp up our frequency here in a little bit. So in numerology, the word vibration in itself vibrates to the number 11. Isn't that cool? Yeah, there's magical words, and if I have any marketers in here in the healing world, it's like to pay attention to the words that you use, because there's a vibration in everything that we do. And how many of you are familiar with the Schumann resonance? It's a vibration that happens around the world. Well, it's said to be at 7.83 hertz, and hertz is it's a unit of measure. How many cycles per second? So the Earth, we can say, is vibrating, or that vibration at 7.83 cycles per second. But it fluctuates up to about 16, and that's a measurable difference, or measurable component that NASA and all the scientists around the world. So that is increasing. This number is actually old. But I just wanted to compare where your heart is on here. 1.2 hertz is where your 1.2 or 1 to 2.5 hertz is where your heart is vibrating. Your brain is at 1 to 7 hertz. Look at the sun is 5.964 gigahertz. That's hertz with 9 zeros behind. So what's happening now is when we experience those solar flares or the sun, we had a big solar flare this week with the new moon and the solar flare after, those frequencies are coming to us and they're bouncing down to Earth. And they're actually transmitting into the energy of planet Earth, which is what makes the planet Earth also the frequency raise. So if you felt particularly edgy this week, anyone? Kind of like things were not going the way you wanted to. I tell people in my corporate life, I had big teams all over the world, and that's where I learned patience. But I tell you, when my son's dog was chasing around my feet this week and I was trying to get something done, I really had to hold on to my patience. It was like one of those weeks or one of those days where the energy just felt incredibly heavy. And water, look at the difference of water, 90 to 110 terahertz. Now you get to put 12 zeros behind. And what are we made of? Water. So anything that's happening out there, anything, is happening here. Does that make sense? And the transition, sometimes it feels like the transition is only happening to us, but it's happening all around us. I don't know how easy this is to see way back in the end. I won't spend too much time, but we've been expanding our chakras. We got the 7 standard chakras, but now we're combining. We're becoming smart in our human systems. And as human systems, we always want more. It's like that artificial intelligence, right? Our bodies have that artificial intelligence. It's always going out, it's learning, and it's bringing back in, and it's deciphering, and it's growing. So we're expanding. We're expanding in the throat area. We're expanding in the heart area. And when we do that, we connect to other places in the universe, our emotional. So universal love, that's opening up the chakras that are higher. Universal communication or spiritual communication. So how many of you are starting to feel the love in a different way? That's the alchemy of love. And you're starting to hear messages, high-pitched tones, whistles, vibrations. You're opening those channels up so that you can receive. That's the universal or the emotional chakra, that you can receive that information, codes and keys of the universe. And the spiritual communication is you begin to recognize. The brain starts to say, what is that? What is that thing? And we try to categorize it to something we already know, but it's different right now for us. Okay? And that ultimate being, who doesn't want to be an ultimate being, right? I love that term. I use that term very loosely because we're always changing, we're always evolving. We won't be done even when we tap into that. But that allows us to start understanding these things that are coming to us, and that's what we're in right now. And part of our community is needing help to understand. So if you're getting messages, in my business, I get calls and emails and texts all the time like, I saw this, what does it mean? Or I heard this, what does it mean? And the greatest gift that I'd love to give all of you is those deciphering codes and keys so that you too can figure out what's coming in for you, right? To me, that's part of being that ultimate being. It starts to open us up into the astral planes. And the only reason I showed this one is this is what I see. When I look at people, this is what I'm starting to see, and where your combined chakras are and how they all fit together and how you're connected into those astral planes. And this is just one side, but if you were to copy that front, back, down, up, it starts to form some sacred geometry, okay? So you're expanding in that, right? And those connections, as we expand, we would say, well, why do we want to expand on that? We're on the human, the physical plane, and what we're doing now is we're becoming comfortable, or we're mastering the physical plane. Mastering the physical plane, that's third dimension. We're wanting to go into fifth and sixth, but I want to take you into like 11, 12, 14, 16, 20. Because as humans, it's never enough, right? We want to go more. So these opening up of the chakras, this takes us into more of the galactic part. So think about our chakra system. We have a root chakra, right? You guys familiar with our chakras at the base of the spine? But what if there were a galactic root chakra? Wouldn't you want to connect to that? And as you expand and as you work through your own expansion and you connect with those sounds and you connect with those energies, that's what you're tapping into, that's what you're connecting. And if you have you have a solar plexus, which is that connection to Mother Earth, it vibrates to 528 hertz, wouldn't you want to connect to the galactic solar? Yeah. And the same with the heart. There's a galactic heart. And that's what we're working on. So these are all the astral planes. And I can talk about the definition of community. So throw out what's your definitions of community? This is a community, right? Friends, family, coworkers. Growing up, my community started, my parents had a small farm in the country, and my siblings were older. So my community were the animals. Yes, I had a pet duck. I had kittens. But that's how I connected to the animals and nature. Played out in the woods. That was my playground. And then when I was ready, in second grade, that's my earliest memory, but I probably connected to them earlier than that. When I was ready, the angels came in, the archangels came in. And then over time, I connected with the ascended masters, the light beings, those that have crossed over. So the question I have for you today is, are you ready, and do you want to connect to those other planes? Because they're there for you. They want to come in and help during any transition or any transformation or transmutation of our energy. They want to come in. So I ask, think for a moment, when in your journey path did you first discover that you needed more in your community? And are you asking yourself that now? Do I need a different community? I see a lot of nodding. Yes. That's why you guys are sitting here. You're looking for your community, right? All right. So with age and life experiences, our communities change. School, college, we all grow, and then we expand. So wouldn't it make sense that also as we evolve, we need new or different spiritual help from the other side? And that's who's coming in. So we vibrate in and out, back to that frequency and that energy. We vibrate in and out. So if you're finding that you can no longer be in a community, it's because your vibration is different than theirs, and you start to vibrate out. And there might be a time that you can tolerate, and I use that word tolerate. You can be in that community for a short period of time because you can tolerate the energy, but eventually you need to vibrate out. And I'm going to use this, I love my family, but I'm going to use this example like family gatherings, right? I can be there, I can be there 2 hours, I can be there 4 hours, or I can be there a whole weekend. That's a prime example. Or now some of you are feeling in the office. Anyone feeling that? I just can't be in the office because your vibration is different. I have so many people asking me, how can I change who I am so I can be in that office? Change the office or leave. Vibrate. It's the only thing that can happen is you diminish your vibration or you leave. It's the only thing that can happen. And recently, how many of you are familiar with the TV series Outlander? Anyone? I see some. It takes place in Scotland, and it's castles and kings and war and battles. And I have a trip planned to Scotland next year, and so somebody said, you need to watch this series, right? I had never had the concept of binge watching. Never. Was not. But I started watching the series, and as an empath, I watched half of the series like this, or I would fast forward, but then I'd have to go back and rewatch just to get the storyline. After I knew what was going to happen, right? I had to go back. But I also, in moments like that, I always ask Spirit, there's a purpose for everything. It's like, why am I going to Scotland? Why did this show suddenly come into my reference point? Why am I needing to watch this thing? And why am I having such a struggle with it? And in those lifetimes, and many of you probably have done some past lifetime things, but in those lifetimes, we were at war, ruthless war, where family members didn't seemingly care to love their family members. It was just ruthless, for all about control and power. The honest truth is, we're not in that war right now. There is nobody in your office running down the aisle with a sword. However, we are under energy war. Do you understand that? And we need to think about it in that similar venue or that similar space. It's like there are people around us that are so unhappy in their life, and they're just sitting in their home or their office, and they're sad and they're frustrated and they're wanting to do something, and that is energy, and that's getting pumped out into the universe. So when I say we're under energy war, years ago, my guides told me, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Because the light comes in, and all of you are light that needs to counter that energy. So when people come to me and say, how do I survive at an office like this? You need to turn your light up more. You simply need to turn your light up more. So it's a time we're coming together. It's a collapsing of time and space and dimensions. Do you believe that? As I went through the future, the forward years of 11:11, and when we'll experience that, we're collapsing the dimensions. So we might talk about third dimension, fifth dimension, sixth dimension, but guys, we pop all over the place at all different times. If I'm working with a client, I might be in the 15th dimension, and then I have to get on the phone and maybe call a repair person. I'm on the third dimension. We're popping around at all times, and we need helpers to help us with that. How many of you have a curiosity about your past lives? Lately, it's like all of a sudden, this more than probably in my years of seeing clients and speaking, people are super curious about their past lives. And the past gives us direction, or the past gives us awareness of where we've been, why we do the things that we do. But more importantly now, it's giving us indications of what we need to clear in all those energy dimensions that we're in. Does that make sense? So sometimes going into a past lifetime, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a past lifetime. But if it brings back something that is of healing or is of karmic healing for you, then it's important, okay? Dreaming is becoming more prevalent for people as a way for us to heal some of that. Our soul families are changing. You might say, what do you mean by that? Well, before we come here, we belong to soul groups, soul communities, and soul families. The fact that you are all living on Earth right now means that you belong to a global soul group. Does that make sense? And then you have soul communities. So if you are active in this community, it's a soul community, maybe in your work. And then you have soul families. So you have your earth family, your biological, those that brought you here, but you have your soul family, that connection. And I believe they're telling me that our soul families are changing. And that is why so many of us are leaving the things that no longer work for us. That makes sense? So sometimes it's okay to let those things go. I'm surprised somebody in here would say, but what if I want to stay connected with my loved ones? Where are they going to go? They might not be part of your soul family. They might be part of your soul group. Does that make sense? Or a soul community. But I do believe that's what we're going through right now. And as we evolve, our teams, meaning our guides and our spiritual, those of other dimensions are also coming in to help us through that. And again, that's what I want to activate for everyone here today. Our astral leaders are changing. What do I mean by that? As we go up into those higher dimensions, we tap into the galactic heart, the galactic solar, the galactic root. And so our astral leaders are coming to help us through that. Do you believe that as you evolve, you need something different? We know that we start doing the same thing over and over and over again, and we get the same results, right? And so we're needing to do something different. All right. So Shambhala. So the choices we make during this time, we have the potential to springboard yourself and the collective. So today I just ask you, is that what you'd like? You say, yes, please. In that spiritual awareness, intellectual wisdom, and emotional maturity. All right. So Gary, if you could put some music on for me. And I would invite you to sit back and just relax. And in this, what I will do is I will ask the helpers of the universe to come in for you. Just allow yourself to feel. You don't have to lock in on the words. but just allow yourself to relax and feel. And the archangels, they're the governors of the planet Earth, and so I start with them this morning. And I ask Archangel Michael, you govern the East. You are the protector. You give us courage. You remove any fear we have. But you also understand our purpose. And when you ask you to open the gateway of the East. And East is the element of air. It is at springtime. It's a time of new beginnings. It's the early morning before the sun has risen. In Great Eagle, I ask you to join us here on the East. And the word is peace. It brings calmness and tranquility. Archangel Michael, we ask you to be forward. And in the south, Archangel Gabriel, you assist in opening the doors to help us. You help us discover ourselves, and that is that time that we are in right now, is discovering and being curious. It's that inner child. It's the connection to the solar plexus, the gateway into the galactic solar. It's the element of fire or summer. And we honor the sun in that. In Great Coyote Spirit, I ask that you join us here in the south. You represent our health and our creative artistry. And here in the west, I ask Archangel Raphael, the healer, to come in. And the west represents autumn or fall, a time of harvest. It's the element of water. It's that deep introspection. It is the content that we carry so dearly in our bodies that contains the vibration for us. It is bear and bear medicine and having that inner knowing and finding that inner truth. And the north, I ask Archangel Uriel, you bring illumination to situations where we feel lost or unclear. You help us manifest those things in our life that we desire, want, deserve, or certainly are aligned to our journey path. You give us insights. This is the winter time, the color of white. It is earth, where earth begins to rest, but yet prepare for the next season. It is the great buffalo spirit with wisdom and knowledge, and the ancients and the elders and those that have gone before us. And sometimes it is about forgiveness. And as you take a deep breath, and you feel the energy of Archangel Michael, and Gabriel, and Raphael, and Uriel, and the clans of angels that they govern, and the elements of earth in wind and sun and water and earth, and the animals that guide us. We call those helpers in for you. And I ask that we have access and expansion to the etheric template. This is the template at the galactic levels that forms all that exists on the physical level, the essence of our soul, opening up the galactic root so that you have this understanding. I ask that we have access to the celestial body, the moon, the sun, the planets, anything that is beyond what we see, our universe, the galaxies, the solar system, those that are beyond us. And we join here for creativity and joy and connect to the galactic solar chakra and the frequency of 528. And I ask for access and connection to the causal body and access to our true soul, the galactic heart, so that we have karmic understanding and expansion. And a connection to the galactic eye, transcending all knowing of time and space and the evolution of your purpose. And in this spiritual awareness, you understand that you are vibrational energy. Feel that vibration in your body, allowing you to be curious as you transmute old energy that no longer serves you into the divine energy that you are and the connection to the helpers of the universe. And I ask those teachers and helpers of other dimensions, the Palladians, the Syrians, the Arcturians, the collective light, the Federation, all those of divine light that want to help us, allow them to step forward to help you on your journey. And with this, they bring intellectual wisdom. Don't be afraid to ask questions of them. Seek your teachers. Listen to their answers. Embrace your experiences. Be comfortable with not knowing until the knowing comes. And the Divine Mother, the Divine Father energy of all universes, we ask that you assist us on this emotional maturity, opening yourself to be uncomfortable as you discover your emotions and you expand. You accept you and you accept others. And you have a sense of unconditional love. Your life is limitless. As I call for one more time for the teachers and the helpers of the universe to come forward, take a deep breath. And the words that I read now are vibrating to the number 11, energy. From this place of free will, you have the ability to direct your energy and be a source of love. Light and enlightenment. The light of creation resides within you. You have the freedom to live your life from this place of infinite power within and be the change from within to the outside. Wisdom. All the universal laws and the wisdom of creation resides within you. Purity. This aligns your energy, light, wisdom in the purity of the love of creation. It is from this place of least resistance that all healing begins. Divine emanation. There are 13 divine emanations, and they contain secret keys and universal laws that are the foundation of evolution. Be this wisdom of creation through you and be the light. Purpose. What is your purpose here on earth, and how may you work to the highest level of this purpose? How might your purpose be clear to you, and it might be as simple as love or sharing your energy. Healing. Be a source of healing. Heal the pain of duality within, giving compassion and understanding and forgiveness to self and others. Heal the healer. angels, and Jesus. That's a 22 in numerology. The wake-up key embedded within our DNA, reminding us that the light of creation resides within us. Om Ah Om. This is the light language used by our ancient ancestors. And it translates to, I honor the divine love that exists within you, within me, and within all of creation, for we are all one. Om Om. Shambhala. Take a deep breath, coming back into your physical being. Welcoming the newness in your physical being and your energy body. I see some yawning and some stretching. I'm going to open it up for questions this morning, let you get back into your bodies a little bit. And I ask if you have a question that you wait for the microphone so that Neil can take it to you. How do you feel after that? Yes? So, what I saw was kind of that picture that I showed earlier with all the lines, that expanding. So I'm curious if you felt your expansion, downward, outward. Did you feel new energy, new helpers come in? And when I looked back on the years, like the 2011, 2009, I remember speaking, and in the back of the room, it's like the wall fell back, and there was rows of shaman coming forward, spiritual healers. And today I sense that also. It's like the armies of the shaman, the angels, the animals, the spirits coming forward. Because they're saying, get ready, right? Shine your light. All right, did someone have a question? You guys are still floating yet, which is okay. Yes? Can you explain the soul family's changing? That's what it is for my. So the question was, can I explain the soul families changing? So if you have a belief, not everybody believes this, but if you have a belief that before you came here, you got together with your soul group and your soul family, and you decided on your roles, you decided on your experiences, because some of us are not here for us necessarily. We're playing a role for others, right? And we're coming to the end of completion of some of the contracts, the agreements, some of the things that we've tried lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And our universal guides are saying, you don't have to do this anymore. So those soul groupings, those soul events, those soul families are changing. We might not need those soul families, or we were in a soul family to play a role, and we no longer have to play that role, so we get to be done. Or we're joining a different soul family because it helps us in our evolution. And that's sometimes hard for our heart, because if we feel this aching, or we feel we want to hold on to something so much, and it doesn't need to be held on to, it's meant to kind of go away. As humans, we don't like change. We don't. But we're changing and we're evolving, and when we change or we evolve, the things around us also have to change or evolve. That includes our soul family, our soul relationships. Does that help? Yeah. Yes. If you could wait for the microphone. Okay, I'll just repeat the question then.
When you talk about the astral leaders assisting us, are they extraterrestrial?
Yeah, so when I talk about the astral leaders changing, Are they extraterrestrial? Yes. So, and they're functioning, the archangels are the governors of planet Earth. They help us here on Earth. So when I call in Archangel Michael and the element of the air and the animals and Gabriel and Raphael and Uriel, they've been assigned the governors of this planet. But there are governors in the galaxies. And there are leaders in those. And as there's changes happening, just like in a corporate job or in a business, leadership has to change sometimes for it to grow, right? And so in the astral planes, it shifts. And it's also what we're ready for. If we have a belief, it's like they will come to us when we have a belief. So if you don't have a belief in, let's say, fairies, you won't see them. They won't come forward to you. If you don't have a belief in animal spirits, they won't come forward to you. Does that make sense? But all the helpers of the universe want to help us, so they will keep trying. They're like, oh, you don't like fairies? Okay, forget fairies. We're going to try animal spirits. Oh, you don't like animal spirits? We're going to try angels, right? So those are the helpers of the universe. And so when I say let's call them in, it's to invite them in, acknowledge them, invite them in, because I like help, right? I like help. Okay, great question. Did I answer it? The astral leader is changing. Yeah. Yeah, question way in the back. Yep. Metatron. So Archangel Metatron. So he is one of the archangels, and he stands next to Archangel Michael, and he's the keeper of the Akashic records. So his role isn't changing other than he's more available, or the Akashic records are more available to us because we're aware of them, and we have a desire to get into them, right? We want to see, or we want to adjust or change or know. So his role is not changing. The governors of the earth, they're pretty solid, but who shows up for you might change. Okay? Yeah.
I have the feeling that presence of the galactic.
Yes.
I know people are seeing ships and stuff in different places, but do you think when the major contact will be like a big launch?
So let me see if I can repeat that back. So you've been getting a lot of insider information about the Federation or other galactic beings being present for us, including spaceships. And the question is, when do I think they will make their presence known?
Like a big mother contact.
So, like, I should look up in the dome now, right? Let's call it in. You know, the interesting thing is they are here.
I know, but it's like, I think don't you think the camera is going to be like very obvious? It's like, oh, hi, and then what?
So let me plant a little seed with you. What if they are already here and it's how we view or how we perceive? We're looking through our third dimension eyes to try to find that spaceship, right? What if you look through your other senses, or you feel through your senses, or you hear? They're already here. Yeah, but you want to see them in the third dimension. They're not of third dimension, dear. So if we are expecting to see them in our third dimension world, but I don't, and I'm just listening to Ashtar as he's talking. He's like, we're already here. We're already here. It's to level set our expectation as to what the experience should be or we want it to be. So, and they do appear. I remember usually if I would travel and I would arrive somewhere at night, I would ask for my helpers to just guide me on the road, and I would see them in cloud formations, particularly if I drive between Phoenix and Sedona late at night. They would be out on the plains. Yeah. They are here. Are you really hot? Because I just see this big, like, lieutenant standing next to you, like, I am here. I am here. Yeah, the heat. Yes, yes.
So to piggyback off of that, I understand what she's asking, like the movie
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So like the movies, the Hollywood stuff that we see, kind of helps us set those expectations, right? But think about that. The thing with Hollywood and the movies is somebody's had a vision or somebody's getting that. So that's why they're able to create those things, right? But they might be seeing them in a different formation versus a craft that lands and people are coming down the ramp. So I just think that what I'm hearing is we limit ourselves so much if we have an expectation here and that expectation isn't met. We're missing all of the possibility and the rest of the 360 because we're just looking at this. Yes?
So you talked about codes and things.
Yes.
And so I see 10-10 a lot, 10-01, 11-10. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, binary.
And I was kind of channel surfing, and I came across that there's some kind of, this is or something kind of code that it's like a 001110. I mean, so there is...
So the question is, you know, you see codes and keys. I talked about codes and keys of the universe. We're just a big processor, and I can so relate to it from my IT, my computer science background. Ones and zeros are binary code in computers. That's actually the foundation of how it all started, ones and zeros. It's an on switch and an off switch. Are you on or are you off? 1 on, 0 off. Does that make sense? So when you see a repeating number, I always suggest, what are you doing at that moment? And if you're like not, if you don't think you're doing anything spectacular, ask for more information. But definitely they're getting a message to you about something that's on or off. And it might be you're moving forward in some part of your life and then you pull back a little bit. And then you're moving forward a little bit and pulling back, so you're on and then off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and we're the same thing, it was 10-10-10, but it's literally just a variation of those two.
Yeah.
Series of
So the helpers of the universe will try all their tools and techniques to get to us and to connect with us. Our loved ones do the same thing, by the way. They'll try any mechanism. If they're trying to get a message to us, if we don't get it on the first try, they're going to try again and again and again. So it might be just the variation that you're seeing. But they want me to talk about, too, the codes and the keys, because as we are interacting, we are distributing keys to other people as we're expanding our emotional field. So, for example, if you run into somebody you haven't seen in 20 years, they might have a key for you in your system to unlock something. Or you might have a key for them to unlock. Is that air in the pipes? Or the commander that's over here. Yeah. Gary would say it's the boiler. Yeah. But we're constantly, the reason that we're expanding and we're needing to open up is we need to have this capacity for the codes and the keys. So code is like programming or software. The keys unlock certain things within us. So we always have the code, and as the meditation said, you have everything that you need right here. But sometimes you might need the key to get into that code. And we get the keys through experiences. All right, last question. All right, question back here.
Something very similar to that effect. I'm really talking, and there was a lot of numbers make more sense to me than anything.
Yeah.
And for the last year, I have seen 666 almost every week. I went on a trip to Duluth last weekend, and I told my friend about it a little bit, and I told my partner about it, and I said, "Do you not see these things?"
Yeah.
And so, like, I point them out, and I don't know if I'm speaking it out, but when I was in Duluth, I think my friend Michael saw it,
The 666. So to sum up, you're an accountant, so numbers are a big part of your life, right? And you are seeing 666. And 666 does not mean the devil. I want to just kill that right now. It just doesn't mean. It's a very angelic. But it also has to do with finances, and it has to do with watching finances and watching the numbers. So there might be something in your life that you're just needing to watch the numbers a little bit more. You might be in budget planning part of your job right now is what I'm getting. And so it's like to pay attention, and it might be kind of a difficult season for you. So does that make sense? Yeah. All right. I could stand here and talk all day to you guys, and I would just love to do that because they're talking. I will stay after to answer questions, but right now, I want to thank you all for coming today. If you, because it is such a powerful, powerful, powerful day on this 11/11, tonight maybe spend some time and just acknowledge, just sit quietly, acknowledge the helpers of the universe that have come in today and ask them to be with you. And if there's something that you're working on in your life right now that you need a little extra push or help, give it to them, all right? They like homework. All right, thank you. Wow, we have a big, big circle today. Big group. Big, bright, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful lights. Take a deep breath. Feel the energy in your center as you take that deep breath. Feel your feet upon the ground. In silence, I hear so much. Noticing the silence and what you hear and what you feel. And the young voices joining in. And I acknowledge the angels and the elementals and the shaman and the spirit animals and the helpers of the universe and all dimensions that have joined us here today, those of divine higher purpose that are here to help us shine our light and shine our light out into the world. As you go forward today, please acknowledge yourself and those in your life as their light. The acceptance of you, the acceptance of them, creates that unity and that sense of purpose and sense of community. Aho. Aho.